Hey, ReaderCrate crew, welcome back. I hope you are all cozy tonight with your favorite drink and maybe even a snack because we've got a treat for you. So if you are new here, my name is Alyssa Granlin and I am the founder of ReaderCrate. I'm also an author under the pen name Lissa Lund. So I love books and reading and bookish things, and I have a special place in my heart for my fellow indie authors because with so many books coming out each day, it's really hard to be seen, which is why I created ReaderCrate, because it gives me a chance to share my love of books, showcase other authors, showcase my books, and also shop, which I love to do. So before we dive into another author chat, just a quick reminder that the next ReaderCrate, our January Mystery in the Making box, is almost sold out. This crate is full of cozy surprises, including signed books. There are some exclusive author goodies, and then there's something special from one of our featured authors. Hint, it's a hardcover with some sprayed edges that you don't normally see in the cozy mystery world. So that's going to be really fun. If you haven't grabbed your cozy crime crate from ReaderCrate yet, this is your sign. You deserve a little bookish treat to kick off the new year. So go to readercrate.com after the live, or you could open a tab right now if you're real good at multitasking. Orders are going to close tomorrow at midnight or when we sell out, whichever comes first. So you're not going to want to miss this one. Mystery in the Making. It's going to be really fun. And then don't forget that our 12 days of Christmas giveaways are in full swing. If you are on the email list, you're automatically entered. And if not, you can still join. You can also join that at readercrate.com. There is a place to subscribe under the freebie tab. So you'll see join ReaderCrate newsletter, and that's how you get into the 12 days of giveaways. And we have one more day. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time, join us live here because I'll be drawing winners from the live audience. I'll be drawing winners from the mailing list too, but I'm also going to draw a couple winners from our live audience just because there's been a big group of people that have been on every single day, and I want to make sure and reward the people who show up and spend time with me too. All right, so now for the fun part. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest tonight, one of the most prolific and talented mystery writers out there. Please, everybody, welcome PD Workman. Yay!
Thank you. What a great intro.
Welcome.
Glad to be here too.
Yeah, it's so great to see you. So I'll just tell a little bit about you. So PD writes everything from cozy culinary mysteries, right, to suspense, YA, which is young adult, and psychological thrillers. And she is a USA Today bestselling award-winning author with over 100 published books. Is that right?
Yep, got 135 right now.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And her cozy mystery series, Auntie Clem's Bakery, starting with Gluten-Free Murder, brings pets and baking and small town charm and murder by muffin, right? So,
Yeah.
and
I have a paranormal. I also have a paranormal cozy series as well. So I also have the Reg Rollins Psychic Investigator series.
Oh, what's that one called?
Reg Rollins Psychic Investigator.
Okay.
And so there's witches and psychics and elves and pixies and dwarves that sell stuff on Etsy and everything there. So that's my Go Wild series where anything could happen.
Right, anything goes. That's great. I have one of those too, and it's so much fun. Although last night I was at my book club and they had read my book and we were talking and they're like, how do you know so much about this stuff? Like the witchcraft. I said, I'm not a witch. It's just fun. It's just fun to, right? It's just fun to.
Yeah, it is. It's great. Yeah. And to do research, and go in and research the witchcraft or the fables or fairy tales or whatever, and how, dragons in all cultures around the world and all that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun.
It's really fun. Well, I'll check that one out. I'll check it out next. So, okay. So you've written 135?
135 published. Yeah.
Published. Wow. Okay. Across multiple genres. So when did you first realize that you wanted to be a full-time novelist, and kind of tell us a little bit about your story about how you got started?
Oh, okay, so I've always written and always wanted to write books. You know, my mom has little construction paper stapled together books that I full of scribbles before I could even read or write, that I was writing these little books before I could even read. So, you know, 3 or 4 years old or whatever. And I wrote my first novel when I was 12. And that was my third attempt at a full length novel. So I did that. And then I just was writing for myself, for my own entertainment. And, you know, when I got married and that kind of thing, I said, you know, after I die, people can publish my books. I don't want to do this. I'm just writing for myself. And then, oh, you know, 2012, 2013 roll around, and I had written some stuff that I kind of wanted to share with the world, and was thinking, you know, this would be a good place to start if I want to start publishing. And I had read a few books about publishing and the whole process and that kind of thing. Um, my boss, I was a legal assistant at the time, said that, you know, his plan was to retire in 5 years. And I'd worked for him for 25 years at that point.
Wow.
And so I thought, okay, so 5 years from now, do I want to be getting another legal assistant job? Do I want to switch to a different profession? You know, what is it I want to be doing in 5 years? Because now is the time to train for it and not be left in the lurch when he retires. And I had been thinking about publishing. Thought, well, you know, I have no idea how much money I can make with publishing, if it's going to bring anything in, if it's going to be a part-time income, if it could be a full-time income. And I've got 5 years, so why don't I publish for 5 years and see what happens? And so I went full-time at 7 years. He didn't retire in 5 years. He took a couple more years to retire. And
Okay.
so he retired and I went full time about the same time. I still do about 8 to 10 hours a week of work for him. He's a retired lawyer now, but I helped him
Oh,
publish his first 5 books. So I
oh,
maintain his website and help him with publishing and that kind of thing. So
oh. And is he writing fiction too?
no, he writes nonfiction. He is 50 years sober and has written 5 books on alcohol addiction recovery.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's a pretty cool story. So now you're full time. I mean, you worked at 10 hours, but you're basically a full time.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Full time. So, okay, and your work ranges from cozies to suspense to YA. So, how do you decide what kind of story you're going to tell next? Do you like have a mood or an inspiration or reader feedback or what? How does the
I
process work?
I rotate through my series. I mostly write in series now, so I will usually write 3 books in one series and then go on to the next series and rotate through them. And so it's just over, like, it's about a year and a half to go through each series and put out. Most of them I put out 3 books at a time. A couple of them I only put out one at a time. So that's what I do, and I have it all lined up in my Todoist projects about what month I'm writing what book, what month they're being published, that kind of thing. So I'm next year trying. I've been publishing a book a month for about 7 years, and except for the months when I publish my novella series, which I then publish 3 in the month. So I've been publishing 14 per year for a few years, and next year that I'm pulling back and I'm not going to publish in June or December. At least that's what I'm saying right now. So
Okay.
sometimes that just means, oh, I'm going to publish something totally different now that I hadn't planned. But um, so yeah, I'm going to try next year. I'm going to pull back just a little bit, give my family a bit more time. June is when all our birthdays are. December's when the other holidays are. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes, and really try to pump up my marketing and advertising during those months so that I don't see too much of a dip in income for them.
Okay. Wow, that's a heavy load, to do that many books in a year. I know. And so all right. So then see, I had a question on that. I think you answered it. I was going to ask you how many that you do. So
Yeah.
14.
This
So,
year I've got 2 more coming this year. This year will be 16 books because I have 2 that were not planned.
so what's your reading like schedule? How do you just get up, get right to work, or what? Tell us a little bit about that. Your writing. I'm sorry, your writing
Yeah,
schedule.
I write in 3 sessions. So I get up and do my run or my workout, and then I write in the morning and do some other, if I have to do some other running around or that kind of thing. Then after lunch, then I do another writing session, and after supper, then another writing session. So I aim for 2,000 words for each of those sessions for 6,000 word quota per day.
Wow.
And with that, then I can write the full novel in 19 to 21 days, then edit it, then start planning the next one.
Wow. Good for you. How do you keep all your characters straight?
Well, most of them I've been writing for a while now, although I just started another series recently. But like with the Auntie Clem's Bakery and with Reg Rollins, they're both up to 27 books now. So I've been managing those, trying to herd those chickens for a while. But I write in a program called Obsidian, and I have a series wiki for each of my series. So I've got character stuff that I need to remember, and uh, all kinds of lexicons and just things that I have to keep track of in
Mhm,
the wiki there. So each of
mhm.
the series or each of the worlds, then I've got a separate directory and separate wiki for, and that helps.
Wow, that's good. Okay. Well, so the cozy culinary premise for Auntie Clem's Bakery is so fun. So what inspired that? The gluten-free baking with the pets and the murder mystery. How did that all kind of come together?
Um, I knew I was mostly writing single books at that point, and I knew I wanted to get into writing in series so that you can get the read through, get the readership to read through the series. And I was thinking about cozy, but I didn't have anything picked yet. And it was actually for that series, then it was the titles that came to me first, about gluten-free murder and dairy-free death. And the next one I actually changed, but it was the titles that came to me first. And I was out, I was not home. I thought, oh, those would be really good. That would be a lot of fun. Um, I have a huge number of allergies and intolerances, and at that time was also cooking for family who had other allergies and intolerances as well, doing a
Mhm.
lot of experimental baking and that kind of thing. So I already had the research done as far as gluten-free baking goes. And so I thought, well, I gotta check those names, gotta check those titles. And when I got home, then went up on Goodreads and started searching through titles, going, nobody has published Gluten-Free Murder. I've got to do that. And so I did. And a lot of people, while I was writing it, I said, they ask what you're writing, Gluten-Free Murder. Oh, I got to read that. It just immediately grabbed people, which was really nice.
Yeah, that's fun.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
grab me for sure. So,
Although I have had a person come up to me once or twice at book sales and pick up Gluten-Free Murder and say, "Oh, is this a recipe book?" It's like, no, I don't actually want to murder people.
here's how you do it gluten-free, huh?
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so in Gluten-Free Murder, your character, Erin, moves to Bald Eagle Falls, okay, and suddenly kind of finds herself solving murders. So, how do you balance that cozy, sweet side of baking with that darker, kind of suspenseful side of the mystery?
Oh, that's hard to say. I think we all have two different sides, and we all and one thing that we're looking for when we're escaping into a book is to dig deep into something else, to escape into somebody else's problems. And so yeah, it's a nice balance that you see in cozy mysteries. It's not all dark, but it's not all light either. You get to see both sides of people, and think about, even these people that you see surrounding Aaron. Some of them come off as sharp, but they're actually sweet inside, and some of them seem perfectly friendly and normal, and have deep dark secrets. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of like other people around us, right? So
Yeah, you never
yeah.
know what's going on in people's heads.
Now, what did you base? How did you come up with your setting for the town of Bald Eagle Falls? Is that based on a real place?
Um, the the town itself is not. Of course, the area is. I wanted something that was a small town, fairly rural, and it had to be Bible Belt. So that kind of narrowed down where it was going to be. Got out the maps and searched for just the right place. So yeah, it was um, a good amount of the plot of the first book revolves around them being on the Bible Belt, because Erin is an atheist, and here she is stuck in this town with all the Baptist ladies who would like to convert her, I guess. But she comes from, she's a fish out of water. She comes from a totally different environment, even though she lived in Bald Eagle Falls for a little while as a child. But she has been raised in a completely different environment, and has to suddenly learn how to get along in Tennessee, in the Bible Belt, in a tiny town, and with all these murders going on.
So, have you traveled to Tennessee and the Bible Belt to kind of do some
Only
research?
virtually, yeah. No, only on
Virtually,
the computer.
okay. Have you lived in a small town?
Um, I was born in a small town. It was a boom town, so it was small when I was born, but larger when I left.
Okay.
But I've been in Calgary since I was 7, so those go a little ways. That's a little ways back. But we have a lot of family and friends that are in small towns too, so you get some exposure that way as well.
Yeah, that's good. So let's see here. Do you consider yourself, I think you're more of a planner rather than a plotter. I mean, more of a plotter than a pantser, right? You kind of,
Well, I do a lot of planning, but actually for the first 30 years almost that I wrote was completely pantsed.
oh, okay.
I didn't start learning how to plot and work from an outline until just before I started publishing. Um, the first the first book that I published was one of the first ones that I had actually plotted out. So,
Okay.
but and it's loosely plotted, um, and I rarely know how it's going to end. So I loosely plot the first 2 acts, and I'll be surprised by how everything comes together in the final act. So yeah, very much in the middle there, where I do planning. I pretty much plan everything now. There's a few in the past 10 years that I have still pantsed, but most of the last 10 to 15 years, then I have planned at least partially.
Okay. So have you found there's an activity you do that helps you to come up with ideas, fresh ideas, new ideas? Like, does this happen on your runs in the morning, or when do
Yeah,
you get?
so yeah, sometimes it's when I'm out running or walking or that kind of thing. Sometimes, as I read stuff in the news or on the internet or whatever, and see interesting plots or ideas, then I have a story clip file that I save those to. As since I'm writing in series, then a lot of times it's momentum or an open loop from a previous book. As I'm writing the books, I try to mark my open loops so that I know stuff that needs to continue on in a later book. And sometimes it may be 5 books later before I pick it up again. But whenever I'm starting a new book, then I start out with a mind map, usually the character in the middle and their relationships and kind of where I left everybody in the last book, and then start looking at, I search for my open loops and look at that and start throwing together what are some of the conflicts and ideas and stuff. And eventually something starts to gel in the mind map there, so that I get enough where I go, okay, that's where I'm going with this. This is the plot that I'm going to follow for that particular book. And then generally I switch between outline and Kanban, which you can switch between in Obsidian. So, I'll start outlining it out and I'll put it into a Kanban where you can move the cards between the lanes and that kind of thing. And like I said, it's loosely plotted, so stuff gets moved around all the time and added in and taken out as I'm actually doing the writing. So
that's good. So then do you do all of your formatting of your books and everything yourself too? Or do you, okay.
Yeah, I
Do
do
you
the
that in
covers, I do the
Obsidian?
formats.
Okay.
Yeah, I do all of the writing in Obsidian, and then the formatting in Vellum.
Oh yeah, that's what I used to. Okay,
Yeah.
I was just curious if I had too many programs here. So
Yeah, no, I for the first little while, when I started writing for publication, then I was using Scrivener. I think I used Scrivener
yeah.
for 6 or 7 years. But I was ending up with a good amount of file corruption and it not translating from version 2 to version 3, and
Yep.
sitting and taking 30 minutes to open a file and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to go to something else. I was using Scrivener for my formatting as well. And so then when I switched to Vellum, then that freed me up to look for other programs that how I wanted to write, what program I wanted to write in. So I still use Scrivener for formatting my large print books, because Vellum doesn't do the large print formatting that I want. But other than that, then everything is Obsidian and Vellum.
Good.
Although I had another project, one of my unplanned projects this year, that it needed both children and adult sections in it. So I needed large print in some sections and smaller print in other sections. And so I tried out Affinity for that just a couple months ago, and that worked out really nicely too.
Good. Well, we've got a question here, and I guess anybody who's listening in, if you do have some questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. But Maria's asking, what's your favorite type of mystery to write?
Oh, I like going through different kinds. One of the reasons that it's nice having 10 different series is that you get tired of one kind and you can switch to another one. And I'm always excited to switch to the next series, and then after 3 months, then I'm happy to move to the next one again. So yeah, I really like the medical thriller, but it also takes a lot of work to do all the research and make sure that it's all right. It's a medical examiner series, so to get all of the autopsy details correct and that kind of thing. So
How do you do that?
it's pretty heavy.
How do you do that research for something like that? Are you talking to medical examiners? Are you just researching it yourself, or how do you get that?
Yeah, mostly online research. You can look up medical studies and handbooks and directions and all of that kind of thing to sort all of that out. I have gone to a couple of webinars with medical examiners as well. And then I've got a few Facebook groups that are helpful as well. There's the trauma fiction group that can help with some of the medical issues if I need to sort something out, and a couple of police one and a legal fiction one for other stuff where, you know, the medical examiner has to interface with the police and you have to get the procedures right and the evidence at the scene and all of that kind of thing right. So I can ask questions in those groups as well.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so switching gears here. So, do you have any pets?
I do. I have, well, my son has a cat, and she's. I had wondered whether she'd come in here while I was on, because if she hears me talking, she wants to know who I'm talking to. But
Exactly.
yeah, she's fun. She's a little gray and white cat, and she curls up next to me while I'm doing my writing, or tries to distract me by jumping up on top of the bookshelves or things like that, or chasing around trying to get me to play with her. So.
Yeah.
And I take her outside for walks in the
On a
yard as
leash, or
well.
is she on a
Yeah,
leash
on a
with you?
leash. Yeah.
Oh,
And she's a watch cat. She, like, when people come into the house, she'll run up and hiss at them if she doesn't like them, and growl at them and try to get them out of the house. And
oh,
if dogs walk by when I've got her outside, you know, big Dobermans or anything, she's racing to the end of the sidewalk to make sure that they can't come in her yard.
oh my gosh.
She's quite fierce.
What's her name? What's her name?
Q-tip.
Q-Tip. And is
Q-tip.
she in any of your books? Has her character shown up anywhere?
Um, a number of her characteristics show up in the books. I've got three characters that have cats, so yeah, some of her personality shows up there sometimes. She's she's very intelligent. My mom says she runs the house, and she really does. But she'll, you know, I talk to her, and she'll follow instructions, but she'll also talk back and say no to us, or and that kind of thing. She'll come up if my husband tells her no for something, then she'll come up and come and talk to me about it, and meow to complain to me that he's told her no about
Right.
something.
Yeah,
It's
that's
quite
how I feel
funny.
too. He's not listening to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You need to come downstairs now because he won't feed me. He said I can't eat his Cheetos.
Exactly. We know exactly what they're thinking. So, how
Mhm.
about your writing ritual? Now, I know it sounds like you're real structured, which is
Mm.
great. You do it 3 times a day, but do you play music in the background? Do you have a certain kind of snack? Is there any kind of particular routine that you play to help you kind of get grounded to be able to get started, or
Yeah. What I usually do in the morning is I'll do summaries of the chapters that I wrote the previous day, so that kind of gets me through reviewing where I was. I use a Rocket book to handwrite notes, so I'll often at the beginning of the day, then I'll just kind of sketch out the scenes that I'm going to be working on that day, and start to pull stuff together, so I've got a better idea of what I'm writing. Music depends on how noisy it is around here. If I need to cover up noises, then I'll put the music on. Or if things are too quiet, then I'll put the music on. So it just depends. Sometimes it's silent and sometimes it's with music. I try not to snack and have my water. I try to make sure I drink enough water. Sometimes I do timed sprints, especially if I find that I'm tired or starting to doze through my writing or that kind of thing, do sprints. I've got a couple of accountability groups that I chat with in between scenes sometimes. So, yeah.
that's good. Well, I know you tackle a variety of themes like mental health and trauma and youth centered issues alongside your mysteries and cozy vibes and stuff. So, how do you approach writing about those subjects, while still kind of giving readers a way to escape? How do you do that?
Um, I, I write a lot of that type of thing, and social justice, and addiction and abuse and all of that kind of thing. And it's a lot of the reason that I write it's that those things speak to me so deeply that I have to tell their stories. And I can't do that in just a few words. It's, it takes me 80,000 or 100,000 words to tell the stories of people who are marginalized and misunderstood and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, most of my protagonists tend to be foster kids, and and you'll see a lot of those issues in there. Um, but yeah, I want people to feel um, and to be educated while they're entertained. Um, but then keeping it light, I guess, just you know, uh, writing about relationships first of all. So um, there's a lot of themes about friendship and family and found family in my books as well, that despite the challenges that these characters are facing, there are also some people around them, and sometimes animals or that kind of thing as well, that they connect with, that can help them over the bumps and that kind of thing. And then, and there's some humor and there's some fantasy and that kind of thing as well. So those things help to balance it out a little bit. But I think a lot of it is that community, that found family. These are the people who, despite everything I've gone to, these are the people who are still at my side, supporting me. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that really helps to balance it out.
And does reader feedback or engagement ever change your plans for your characters or for your story arcs at all?
Not really, as far as arcs and where they're going and that kind of thing. I have had to continue series or
Oh,
things like that. I've had to write more because they're not done. They want the rest. One of my young adult series, Between the Cracks, uh, I wrote 3 books and I was done. Um, but there was still one more story that had to be told, and so I wrote the 4th one. Um, it's a like a family epic series, and so it tells the stories from each of the siblings' viewpoints. And so I did that, and then that left one sibling whose story had never been told. So I had to do the 5th one. And okay, so it was done after 3, it was done after 4, it was done after 5. But then I had a couple of readers who were coming back to me and saying, you wrote about June, but she never got a happily ever after. She never got hope at the end of her story. And we need to see that she went on and was able to recover from the trauma and that kind of thing. And so I had to write number 6. And so that series did finish at 6. So yeah, reader feedback definitely affected where that series went. Same with Tattooed Teardrops, which was only ever written as a standalone. Ended up 4 books long
mm,
because they just wanted more, I thought, and kept asking for more after the first one. I thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna start writing book 2 with no plan and see where it goes. Well, that one had to be split into 2 books because there was just so much that flooded in once I started writing the 2nd book. So that ended up as 3 books, but there was still one kind of final place I wanted to take it in the end. So it ended up a 4-book series. So yeah, I mean, reader feedback definitely, uh, it helps me. I know there are there are writers who, when they hear things from readers saying, "Oh, why don't you write about this?" or "Why don't you write about that?" they get really irritated by it. They say, "I'll decide what I'm going to write," and you just wait until I write it, or I'm not going
mm,
to write something just because somebody thinks that I should. But I have felt the opposite. That I've had readers come to me and say, this is an issue that I heard about, and it sounded like something that you would write about. Yeah, you're
Oh,
right. I want to write about that.
oh,
And uh, my medical kidnap files series. Um, After I had 2 or 3 books out in that series, then I ended up with some parents who had dealt with medical kidnap emailing me and saying, yeah, you're telling our story, and let me tell you what happened to us,
mhm.
and telling me about their experiences, and saying, you really need to tell people about this. And so I did, and changed names and changed circumstances and that kind of thing, because they were still in a position where they were vulnerable to having their kids taken away again if
Oh,
they made waves, and
right,
so
right, right, right.
yeah, I get readers that suggest ideas to me, and yeah, I like getting these ideas, and I definitely use them and incorporate them as I'm going through.
That's great. That's good. Okay, so here's some fun kind of rapid fire questions. All right,
Okay.
so do you prefer, well, it sounds like I already know, but gluten-free bakery or a classic bakery? Which do you prefer when you're going out?
I can't eat at a bakery, so I only eat what I make from scratch myself.
Okay, okay, got it. So coffee or tea?
Neither. I drink water.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's see here. So what's your kind of go-to little guilty pleasure then, if you're going to make it from scratch? What do you like to have?
Oh, maybe cookies or brownies. I do like sweets, but I don't make them too often because I can't stop myself when I make them.
Yeah. Okay. And let's see. If Gluten-Free Murder became a movie, who would you cast as Aaron Price?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. And I don't know a lot of actor names either.
Okay.
I'd have to look around for that. Yeah. Yeah. Good
Okay.
question.
Well, what are you especially excited about that's coming up that you can kind of tease for us?
Well, so next week, next Friday, is Chocolate Eclair Voyant. So it's book number 26 in the Auntie Clem's Bakery series.
Oh, wow.
And so they're dealing with some clairvoyant predictions, and it takes them some interesting and shocking directions. And then number 27 in the series comes out in January, and that's Quiche Me Goodbye. So those are the next few coming out. I also next week we'll be getting back from my editor my writer's guide to Obsidian nonfiction book, and we'll be putting that out shortly as well. So
Ooh, I'm going to pick that up for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good. And there's some articles on my website if you want to skim through some stuff on Obsidian. I also did a special Christmas book, but I can't talk about it yet because it's a surprise for somebody, and so nobody can see about it until she's got it. So
Oh, that's awesome. So now, if readers want to read your books, do they need to start at the beginning of each series? Is that going to make the most sense to do that? What do you think?
that will make the most sense, but they are all written to stand alone as a mystery. So each of the mysteries is solved within the one book, and I try to put enough in there that you understand who all of the characters are and their relationships with each other, and some of their backstories. So they can be read individually. I'm really bad when I'm reading other people's series. I'll just jump wherever in the series, and I don't care where I am in the series. I'll just pick them up anywhere, and you can do that with mine as well.
Okay.
If you do want to avoid any spoilers and read from the beginning, then yeah, start with book number 1, Gluten-Free Murder, and see where that takes you.
Okay, good. Well, that's what our club is going to do this month, so that's going to be fun. So
Yeah.
what's the best way that readers can support you?
Well, you can check me out at pdworkman.com or buy books through shop.pdworkman.com. But I'm also on all of the major retailers, so you can pick up books there as well. Read them, tell your friends all about them, tell them it's your new favorite author, and that they need to read all 135.
That's awesome. Do you do much on social media? Can we find you there too?
Yes, most social media, I am PD Workman author. And
Okay.
so you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Pinterest,
Okay.
wherever. Yeah.
Good. Okay. And let's see here. Just seeing if we have, nope, no more questions right now. Let's see here. Well, anything else you want to share? Any other, once we do the gluten-free mystery, where should we go next?
Oh,
Once
well,
we get to that
you should
stage.
probably choose the beginning one from each of the series, and then you can see which series you like the best.
Okay, that's a great tip. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're into cozy, then after Auntie Clem's Bakery, I would try picking up Reg Rollins' Psychic Investigator.
Okay.
Some people don't like fantasy and magic stuff, and that's okay. That's my only series that's got fantasy and magic in it. The next cozy-ish one would be the Parks Pat Mysteries series. It's a novella series, and it's a single mom, Indigenous, Canadian setting. The covers are all my photographs, and I go and walk through the parks with my husband and plan places that dead bodies will show up. So those ones are local, set in Calgary, murders that are set in Calgary parks. So if you want
That's
to
so fun.
walk where I walk, then you can do some armchair travel and pick up that series. And they're
Oh my
nice,
gosh,
quick
that's great.
reads. So
I can't
yeah.
wait to share that with my friend in Calgary. I got to tell her about that. So that'll
Oh
be fun.
yeah, absolutely. There's
Yeah.
12 or 15. There's 12 out in the series right now, and 3 more that
And
are
what's
right
that one
coming
called?
out. Parks Pat Mysteries.
Parks Pat. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna share that with her right when we get done here. All
Sounds
right.
good.
Yeah. Well, Petey, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your stories and a little bit of the behind the scenes magic and really your writing process. It's really interesting. Um,
Mhm.
Cozy friends, if you haven't yet, why don't you check out Gluten-Free Murder and then Petey's other cozy and thriller books. And also, let's see here. We've got a couple comments. We've got somebody from Tammy from Missouri, and Christine's here. Yay, Christine. Thanks for being here. So make sure everybody to grab your January Cozy Crime Crate. And if you can share this interview, that would be awesome on Facebook or Instagram to help PD kind of get out there with maybe some new readers. That would be wonderful. And make sure to join our 12 days of Christmas giveaways because you could be tomorrow's lucky winner. All right. So we'll be back again with another author chat. Until then, happy reading, stay cozy, and good night. And
Thanks so
thanks.
much for having me.
Thank you. Nice job.